The Fat Controller preferred steam engines on his railway, but he found diesels useful because they can pull either coaches or trucks. "You're versatile," he would say to them. "Real mixed traffic engines." Bear, the diesel engine, was proud of this, but James was not impressed. He didn't mind Bear, but he treated all other diesels with deep suspicion. "Diesels don't use coal and water," he would say darkly. "How can you trust an engine who isn't normal in his habits?" Ever since Devious Diesel came to the island of Sodor, got Duck framed, and after he got found out and sent packing, James had grown to have a distaste in diesels because of that. Sometimes a lot of visiting diesels boasted about how special they were. Usually Bear had to spend the next day smoothing ruffled feelings in the shed every so often. One day, a particularly haughty diesel came from the other railway. When he heard they had to share the shed with steam engines, he stopped outside in disgust and refused to go any further. "Why on earth does your controller keep such out-of-date objects?" he growled rudely. "Dirty, smoky, slow things! Ugh!" He shuddered delicately. "On our railway," the diesel continued loftily, "steam engines are kept strictly in their place and not allowed on the main line without special permission." Bear soon lost patience. "Stay outside then if you're so proud about it," he said crossly. "I'm going to join my friends." That night, James had his thoughts about the diesel. "I hope it's cold tonight and he can't start in the morning," he grumbled. "At least someone might want to preserve us. Who need him? Old stuck-up." The engines were glad when morning came. They all set off for work as quickly as they could, and the visitor was left alone. "That's better," he purred to himself. "How can an engine rest with all that hissing and clanking?" The cleaning equipment and fuel supplies were in the part of the shed which Bear had used. The diesel was so full of self-importance that he had forgotten he would need cleaning and refueling before he went home. It was getting late when he remembered. "If I go in now while the shed is empty," he said to himself, "no one would know I've been." He scuttled forward quickly towards the shed, but too quickly. The rails where Bear had stood were oily, and when he tried to stop, he couldn't. "Brake blocks and buffers, I'm slipping!" he wailed, as his wheels rocked and slipped. He shut his eyes as, with a despairing whoop of horror, he crashed into the wall at the end of the shed. The diesel was not badly damaged, but a dreadful draft came into the hole in the wall. Oliver was then sent to clear up the mess. He then helped to pull the diesel out of the hole. That night, when the other engines came home, Oliver had told them the story. "Ha ha ha," laughed Duck. "Old Stuck-Up came unstuck, did he? I even saw him rolling back to the mainland earlier. He was being such a moan." "Did you?" asked Oliver. "I sure did," replied Duck. "But I must say, Bear, what is it the Fat Controller calls you?" "Versatile," chuckled Bear, "but that isn't what he called old Stuck-Up. I couldn't hear all he said, but I didn't think the Fat Controller made it sound very polite."